Wizard of Oz. Hello, hello. Come hither from yonder, all ye pilgrims, as we delve now together into solving a cryptic crossword. Now, if you're anything like me, I too once knew nothing about how to solve cryptic crosswords, all of the esoteric rules and ways of figuring out the clues. So if you'd like to grab your own mug of coffee, a pen and a paper, and we'll spend the next half hour going clue by clue until we've solved a Wizard of Oz themed cryptic crossword together.
Anybody can have a brain. That's a very mediocre commodity.
Clue 1 across is like a candle, what one called out foul cursor? And it's a 2-word answer of 6 letters and 5 letters. Now, when you're reading through a cryptic crossword, you need to keep in mind that there is a definition or a synonym of the answer that you're looking for. And then there's some wordplay fodder. So there will be indicators of anagrams or reverse letters or scrambled letters or homophones. So these are the kinds of clues that you need to look out for and figure out what word definition am I looking for and what are the letters that I can play with so that I can confirm that I've got the right answer. So foul cursor is going to be our definition here. Like a candle is wicked, isn't it? So for 6 letters, if you write out wicked, you've got our 6-letter first half of this answer. You'll notice I mentioned homophones before, which are words that sound alike when spoken. So called out means you're going to say the word play. Another word for which is what one. Called out, which, we now find our foul cursor is a wicked witch. So that is the answer for 1 across, wicked witch.
I'm melting!
Now for 4 across, we have cannibal ends with basket case full of hot air. This sounds like some very disturbed individuals interacting on a surface reading of the clue. However, if we once again just break down the clue into little sections, cannibal ends, the ends there refers to the last few letters of the word cannibal. And another word for basket case is a loon. What's something full of hot air that would be 7 letters from the end letters of cannibal and loon? Balloon is the answer for 4 across.
I can't come back. I don't know how it works.
Now 6 across, this is one of the more difficult ones. Any word that is going to be anagrammed can have a vast array of indicators, of anagrammed indicators. Now, if a word is scrambled, if it is upset, if it is broken, any words to this effect, the likelihood is that the surrounding letters, particularly if they are the same number of letters as the answer you're looking for, will be the anagram material that you're working with. Ditzy leading lady, floating high, dropping ecstasy. All right, that's an interesting character there. So ditzy leading is the letters of leading being a bit all over the place. Yeah, we're going to anagram the letters of leading and mix them up. Lady floating high describes the character we're keeping in mind. Dropping ecstasy, another word for ecstasy is E. So if we drop the letter E out of our anagrammed letters, you'll find that the 6 remaining letters can be anagrammed to Glinda, who can be described as a ditzy leading lady floating high. All right, 9 across. I'm actually really proud of this one when I came up with it. I thought it was very clever and had a lot of double entendres in it. I ran it by David Astle, who does the cryptic crosswords for a lot of Australian newspapers. He was not as appreciative of the eccentric manner in which I did this clue, but let's jump in nonetheless. 1,000 pitch perfect ones who strum on keyboards. 6 letters. Now, anytime you see a number like 1,000, it's a high likelihood that it's going to refer to Roman numerals, because a lot of Roman numeral numbers are in the English alphabet. So 1000 is M. So you can start with the letter M. Now, pitch perfect, what's another word for pitch perfect? Someone who can sing really well in tune. On key. So if we take the letter M and add on key, ones who strum on keyboards might describe the old idiom of 1,000 monkeys on typewriters strumming on keyboards. And just as an extra little clue there, if you look at the letters in strum on keyboards, hidden in those letters is also monkey, just to give you an extra little clue there. So 9 across, monkey. All right, down to 11 across, Spooner's bitter jug for swing dancer. Now, anytime you see spoonerism relating to Mr. Spooner, this refers to a rhyme in which the first 2 letters are switched. So Spooner's bitter jug is just going to be jitterbug. That's the 9-letter answer for this, jitterbug being the name for a dance of the 1920s, 1930s of swing dancers of that era. Now, just keep in mind, I was going for a more simplified version of Cryptic Crossword here for newcomers. So in an actual Cryptic Crossword, if you saw Spooner, they would not put bitter jug directly after it. They would say Spooner's sour pitcher or something like that. And you would have to figure out that little extra step of what the actual Spoonerism was. All right, 12 across. It's a 6-letter word. Superhero franchise initially makes audience regret very early leave. Now, I know a lot of superhero movies, if you leave right as the credits roll, you'll miss out a little bonus scene there. This is just a little fun with the surface reading of the clue. Superhero franchise as a definition, there's really only 2 to work with there. It's either DC or Marvel. So DC only gives you 2 letters. Are you going to be able to work out the other letters from the rest of the clue? Or can you pick out that the word initially will refer to the initial or the first letter of the following words? So if we look at initially makes audience regret very early leave, the first letters of those words, M-A-R-V-E-L, Marvel. We've got a superhero franchise, Marvel. And Professor Marvel is, of course, the character from Wizard of Oz.
Professor Marvel never guesses, he knows.
13 across. Enslaved guards in scenic Kind, Iowa. Odd in retrospect. Now, this does require you to have a bit of knowledge about the Wizard of Oz. Enslaved guards would be a giveaway there if you are familiar with the musical or movie there. In scenic Kind, Iowa suggests that the letters of our answer are in the letters of those words. And we see odd in retrospect. So in retrospect means looking back, and odd, you want to look at every odd numbered letter. So odd in retrospect, in scenic Kind, Iowa, we find Winkies, the 7-letter answer to this clue. Okay, 14 across. This clue was many people's favourite from the test audiences that I sent this to early on. Corny individual twisted a corkscrew, then knocked head off. Now, corny individual, you'd think someone like a joker, a jester. There's also the word corny, giving you a bit of clue there. This person might hang around corn a bit. And this corny individual twisted a corkscrew. So as we mentioned earlier, anything involving shuffling or twisting or breaking will be an anagram indicator. So twisted a corkscrew, we're twisting the letters of a corkscrew. Then knocked head off, the head is coming off the word knocked. So the K is being pulled out from those letters we've just rearranged. 9-letter answer, scarecrow.
Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
18 across, short and sweet. Who met in house? 4 letters. So already there's not much material here that we can work with, so the answer is going to be in there somewhere. Who met in house? The letters are right there in the middle of who met. 4 letters, home.
There's no place like home.
19 across. Again, I was really proud with this clue. I thought it was very clever. Again, David Assel did not. But nonetheless, I've decided to keep with this one. Cleaner transport produces loud engine revs with 2-stroke. So this clue here might refer to possibly a hybrid car or a Tesla, something like that. If we break it down into little segments, cleaner transport is going to be the definition here. And you think like green energy, clean energy, but cleaner transport is a bit of wordplay there. Keep that in mind. Produces loud engine revs. Now, as I mentioned before with homophones or saying things out loud, loud engine revs. What sound does an engine make when you say it out loud? Broom, broom. And revs is the plural, so brooms with 2-stroke. Now, 2-stroke is an engine, but also making 2 strokes with your pen is a tick. So we have loud engine revs, brooms, with 2-stroke, with tick. Brooms tick is the answer, the 10-letter answer of our cleaner transport, a broomstick, which the Wicked Witch travels around on. 20 across, scour a gel encapsulating liquid spirit. So this reads a bit like some kind of cleaning product perhaps, but we are in the realm of the Wizard of Oz. It's 7 letters. So let's look through how can the word encapsulating give us a clue towards the answer. Well, the letters of scour a gel are encapsulating this liquid spirit. And if we look right in the middle of scour a gel, we find courage, which you can have liquid courage. Courage is your spirit. So scour a gel encapsulating liquid spirit, 7 letters, courage.
Courage. You could say that again.
23 across. Now this clue fooled a few of my friends on early readings. Gale twisting to and fro, whisking female away. Now, for those of you familiar with The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy Gale is the name of the female protagonist, so they thought this might be a Dorothy-related clue, 7 letters. But let's go through it again. We again see the word twisting, which suggests some movement of the letters. So twisting to and fro is you're twisting those letters around. And just like some of our earlier anagrams, we're also going to take a letter away. So we're whisking female away. So the letter F stands for female. You twist to and fro, you take out that F, you get a gale or a tornado. 24 across, 5 letters, 5 letters. It's a 2-word answer. This is one of the more tricky ones. Sam, for example, found unclean when rye cleared anew. Now, anytime a cryptic crossword clue uses a name and for example, they're usually giving you a real world reference that you can find similar answers to. So Sam, for example, who are some famous Sams that we can think of who might fit this answer a bit? So we have to clear anew out of the letters in the middle here. So if we take A-N-E-W out of that middle section, already you can maybe find the answer there yourselves. And if we think Sam, for example, a famous Sam is, of course, Uncle Sam. So our answer here is an uncle. And with those cleared letters, Uncle Henry, when rye, Henry, we cleared off those other letters. 5-5, our answer is Uncle Henry.
But I did leave you, Uncle Henry. That's just the trouble.
27 across. Evenly adjourn out, they name famous dinosaur. It's only 7 letters, so it's not going to be Brontosaurus or Triceratops or anything like that. Evenly adjourn out. They name. Okay, so we already dealt with odd letters in retrospect for Winkies. Evenly means that we're looking at the even letters of the next few words. So if we look at every second, fourth, sixth, eighth, 10th letter from adjourn out they, we find Dorothy. And of course, a famous dinosaur from the Wiggles is Dorothy the dinosaur. So our answer for 27 across is Dorothy.
Dorothy? Who's Dorothy?
Now 30 across. Monkeys consume outer peel placed with oranges. Already gives us a bit of a hint of a kind of fruity answer. It's got the peel there, it's got oranges. Monkeys, a synonym for monkeys is apes. And the letters of apes are consuming outer peel. So the outer letters of peel are P and L. If you put apes around P and L, you get apples. Apples and oranges, that's the answer for 30 across.
Apples!
Alrighty, we've reached the end of our across clues now with number 31. Alpha and Omega transform energy inside weird eccentric speller. Now, alpha and omega, transforming energy, we're getting a kind of mystical vibe here. But if you think instead in terms of Greek letters, alpha and omega are A and Z from the alphabet. So that's two letters that we've got here to play around with. And A and Z transform energy inside weird. Now, just as ecstasy can be represented by the letter E, so too can energy be represented by E. E equals mc squared. So the E inside weird is being transformed by alpha and omega, by A and Z. So if we replace the E in weird with Z and A eccentrically, in an eccentric manner, we're twisting it around a bit, we get a speller, or someone who casts spells, who is a wizard. The 6-letter answer for 31 across.
I am the great and powerful Wizard of Oz.
Alrighty, we're moving on to our down clues now. We'll start with number 2 down, which is Nebraskan Sasquatch, hidden home on the range. Now, anytime you see hidden or concealed, usually the letters will be squashed or stretched across a few other words in the clue. So if we read closely along Nebraskan Sasquatch, you'll see hidden in the letters there is Kansas, which fits the 6 letters of our answer. Home on the Range is, of course, a famous old country song from Kansas.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
All right, 3 down next is bells ringing as King Kong beheads leaders for days. 4-4. So we know it's 2 words, 4 letters each. King Kong is standing out there in the middle. Bells ringing. So we know there's a bit of noise or onomatopoeia involved. King Kong beheads leaders. So we're taking the leading letters off King Kong. And what are we replacing them with? King Kong beheads leaders for days. And the letter D often represents days. So instead of King Kong, we're beheading those leaders and replacing them with D's for ding dong.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, a wicked witch.
5 down is a 2-letter answer. So we already have a limited number of responses that could fit here. Dozen leaks ounce from lion's home. All right, so we know we've got a lion in the show. Lion's home. A lion's home is a den. And an ounce is leaking from the den. So if we look at the first word there, dozen, it's got the letters for den there. An ounce can be represented with the letters OZ. So that OZ is leaking out of the den, out of the lion's home, giving us our 2-letter answer, Wizard of Oz, Oz.
To Oz? To Oz.
7 down now. This one's a little bit naughty, a little bit tongue-in-cheek on a surface reading of the clue. Burst cream-filled ones in crimson bloomers. So you might get a visual there of some bright red underpants and some cream-filled related bursting going on. You must go and reread the clue again and think of different synonyms or meanings of the words that could apply. So burst, another word for burst is pop. So we might start off with pop here as part of our 7-letter answer. And jumping to the end again, crimson bloomers could mean red underpants, but bloomers also could refer to blooms, to flowers, to blossoms. So jumping back now to the middle section, which we haven't solved yet, cream-filled ones. What are some things that are cream-filled? It's going to be a plural, pies. So pop, pies, they're crimson bloomers, poppies.
Poppies. Poppies will put them to sleep.
8 down now. We have a 5-letter word. Grey matter discovers alternate aberration. A bit of a simple one here. Already you might read grey matter and get the answer right away. If we discover alternate aberration, again with our odds and evens, we're going for alternate letters in the word aberration, where we find the 5 letters of B-R-A-I-N, brain. If I only had a brain.
If I only had a brain.
10 down. Road paving will be rocky, meandering. David Assel commended me highly for this clue. I thought it was a bit run-of-the-mill, but there you go. Apparently, from the experts, this is the way you're supposed to do a cryptic crossword clue. We've got 6 letters followed by 5 letters. So we need to have a look here at how we can find out what those letters are. I think we've already got an idea that it's going to relate to a road in some way involving the Wizard of Oz. So that should get our brains ticking in the right direction. Will be rocky, comma, meandering. If you count those letters up, there's 11 letters. There's 11 letters in our answer. Meander those letters around and you will get yellow brick.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
12 down now is an 8-letter answer. Have family for dinner. He's a little short. This is in 2 parts, so one part of it will define our answer and the other part will be a bit of wordplay. So have family for dinner. What's that, like a luncheon, a family event, Thanksgiving? Or could it be a little bit of a funny double entendre there? What's another word for family? Is your kin. And if you're having your kin for dinner, you'll munch kin. So he's a little short, a munchkin is the answer for 12 down.
But if you please, what are munchkins?
15 down, simple little double definition for you. Yellow chicken. All right, it's a chicken that's yellow. Or once again, using our noggins, finding some synonyms, finding some alternate meanings of these words. Yellow can be used to describe someone who is cowardly. And chicken can also be used to refer to someone who is cowardly. So our 8-letter answer here is cowardly. Yellow chicken.
Wouldn't you feel degraded to be seen in the company of a cowardly lion?
16 down. Upending an oil can conceals lack of pride. Now, if you've watched Wizard of Oz, you'll know the oil can is most often associated with the Tin Man. So you might think there's a Tin Man here, but we've only got a 4-letter answer. So something else must be going on in here. Upending an oil can. This is a down clue. So if we're upending the letters, it means the letters are going to be going upwards. So if we write an oil can upwards, they conceal, so those letters will conceal within them a lack of pride. And once again, pride has 2 meanings. In this particular meaning, it refers to a group of lions. So a lack of pride means you're only a single lion. You don't have anyone else there. And right there in the letters of an oil can, we find concealed the 4 letters of lion.
Lions?
And tigers? And bears.
17 down. Subwoofer sounds digital echo. All right, are we referring to a car radio here, some speakers? Again, in the middle there, we have sounds. We did have some earlier clues where we had to sound out or say out loud the words and the sounds to get the answer. So a digital echo suggests that a sound is repeated twice. We've only got 4 letters there, so it's going to be a short sound that's repeated twice. And a subwoofer is a funny little clue there that we've got a small dog. Digital, your toes are digits. If you repeat or echo toe, you get Toto. Subwoofer sounds digital echo. Toto.
Toto, darling.
21 down. This is probably my most dastardly clue. You really need to know a lot of niche information to get everything you need to know about this clue. I've included an American flag at the end, just to indicate that it's an American spelling for many of our Australian and British and Commonwealth viewers. So ABC dash sounds like she's against 13th. All right, so what's going on with this one? How can this clue relate to something from The Wizard of Oz? Sounds like she's against 13th. Some of you might be able to get the answer just from that information there. So it sounds like, you're saying it out loud, she's against, so you're anti something, 13th. What could the 13th refer to? If we count through the alphabet to the 13th letter, we get M. Anti-M. And you might jump back to the start of the clue and say, well, what was the rest of that information for? If you are like me, an Australian who studied Australian media at university a few decades ago, you would know that the ABC is referred to endearingly as auntie. And right next to the ABC, what have we got there? A hyphen, a dash. Yeah, that's an M dash, not an N dash, an M dash. So the start of the clue, ABC, M dash, Auntie M, sounds like she's against 13th, American flag, Anti-M. So I thought that was clever. I don't know how else you're supposed to do this clue, but there you are, Anti-M.
I'm frightened, Daddy. I'm frightened.
22 down. Centre of the Arts displays organ. 5 letters. All right, is this a piano perhaps? It's a centre of the arts. It's displaying an organ. If we think of organ again, we've got organs inside our body. Well, again, let's look at the central letters of the arts and see what that displays. 5 letters. Heart. If I only had a heart.
If I only had a heart.
25 down now. Jade discovers endlessly ephemeral diamond. 7 letters. Jade looks like a woman's name there. I was thinking of putting Beryl there as well. Both of those names have an association with the answer here. Now, what we just did in the previous clue was look at the letters inside and we discovered our answer there. Endlessly ephemeral diamond means we're taking the ends off ephemeral diamond. So let's do that. Let's remove the end letters off and suddenly we find buried in the middle there, emerald, like the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz. And also jade being the same colour as emerald.
Emerald City is closer and prettier than ever.
26 down, war on bi-queer flag. 7 letters there, so I don't think it'll refer to Trump. Queer, meaning a bit askew. War on bi. If we put those letters askew, we get rainbow, and the queer flag is a rainbow. Wizard of Oz, somewhere over the rainbow is the answer for 26 down.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Almost at the end now. 28 down. Polish edge of shiny gemstone. It's 4 letters, so not a long answer. Polish edge, is it relating to someone from Poland, perhaps? Polish, how do you polish something? You shine it, you rub it if you polish something, and edge of shiny refers to the edge letter or the last letter of shiny. polish, rub, edge of shiny, the letter Y, we get ruby, the gemstone ruby, like the ruby slippers that Dorothy dons in The Wizard of Oz.
She's wearing the ruby slippers.
Alrighty, let's bring it home with 29 down. Can Guy extract nucleus from platinum and germanium? Alright, this is a bit of a nerdy clue. We've got a 6-letter answer, so still a bit of work to do with this one. What's extracting the nucleus? The nucleus is the very center of something, isn't it? So if we're extracting the nucleus from platinum and germanium, we're going to take out the central parts of those words. And if we look in the center of platinum, you can see 3 letters in there. And if you look at the center of germanium, there's 3 letters in there. Extract tin and man, and we get a can guy, Tin Man. And that is our final answer for 29 down, Tin Man.
Why, it's a man. A man made out of tin.
Okay, now that we've filled out our cryptic crossword, we've got all the answers. You'll notice there's a little yellow brick road bonus round hidden inside where we've got some yellow marked squares. So let's pluck those letters out and see what we can make of unscrambling the special coloured letters to solve the mystery word. P from poppies, we've got an S from Kansas, R from Marvel, S from Winkies, I from Lion, E from Courage, L from Uncle Henry, and P from Apples. So if we unscramble those letters, we will solve our mystery word, which is of course slippers.
Slippers. Yes.
Congratulations, you've just completed Professor Marvel's cryptic crossword.
Oh, joy, rapture. I've got a brain.
I hope you enjoyed yourselves, hope you learnt a thing or two, had a little chuckle along the way. Click your heels together 3 times and I'll see you at our next cryptic crossword. Ciao.
Say goodbye, Toto.